Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I never thought I'd be making another YouTube video soon, especially not about a grown-ass man who made a whole YouTube video about me and threatened to sue me for defamation and also threatened to put a restraining order on me just because I called him a fake car guy. So Will, just to let you know, in order to sue someone for defamation, it has to be a false statement. And honestly, in my opinion, and a lot of people can agree with me, what I said about you being a fake car guy is the truth. So in the video that he made about me, he never shows any receipts backing up his claim. So today I'm going to tell you guys the truth, and I actually have receipts and screenshots of everything, and I hope that you guys can actually believe my side of the story. You can believe who you want to believe, but at the end of the day, I have screenshots. He didn't provide receipts. So let's go ahead and dive right in about what he had to say. So he started off his video talking about my relationship. But if we're gonna do that, I'm gonna play the same game. And Will, let me give you some relationship advice. You should stop trying to date 18-year-olds and actually date some people your own age. You're going on around 30, so I know it's not illegal to be dating 18-year-olds because they're over age, but in my opinion, it's fucking weird. Find some people your own age. Maybe that's why your dating life is so shit. So now that we're done with that, I just had to bring that up, Will, because you want to bring up my relationship. But let's move on. So at 2 minutes and around 4 seconds, you mentioned how you found the property and you were all involved and you even helped like renovate the whole house. The whole renovation thing was the landlord's job. You didn't do anything. So why even bring that up? What kind of landlord would have a tenant renovate a house? That makes no sense. So I don't even know why you even said that in the video. At 2 minutes and 10 seconds, he mentions that he fully furnished the house.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But the only thing he brought was a washer and dryer and silverware. But me and Andrew brought in a whole fridge because when we were looking for a fridge, he was too cheap to try to find a fridge. So my dad had one laying around and Andrew bought it off of him. So we brought in the fridge. He didn't want to pay anything for it. We also brought in a pool table because the whole living area looked so empty. So I decided to bring in a pool table. In addition to that, the coffee table and the sofa that you see in the living area, Drew and Will actually picked it up for free. So they both went together. So him saying that he fully furnished the house, I mean, you can't take up all the credit for that. At 2 minutes and 18 seconds, he claimed that he got 4 sponsorships. I have no clue about the other 3 sponsorships, but the only sponsorship that we know of is the Adams Polish's sponsorship, and Andrew actually went with him to the meeting. And at the end of the day, Will said that we can't touch his Adams Polish's cart and we can't use his tools, as if he's gonna fucking use his tools. Like, that's the most ridiculous thing ever. So at 2:45, he does mention some sort of throat condition that he has, and he says it's precancerous. But every time he has exploded on us and like basically cussed us out, he uses him not feeling well as an excuse to backtrack what he said. So he does mention that his condition is not an excuse, but if it's not an excuse, why keep on talking about it in the video? So at 3 minutes and 13 seconds, he then proceeds to say that I basically abandoned the whole house and I left them with like a pile of bills. But one thing you all have to know is that our lease ends this month on the 31st, and I paid my rent for this month. And another thing is, I'm not even on the lease. Yes, I was gonna pay for the utilities that I use and those bills, but as for him saying that I just left without any notice, yeah, I left because I knew that I was able to leave. I paid my rent and I knew I was clear to leave, which is why I did it. I didn't owe him anything. So like I said, July 31st was the end of everyone's lease, meaning that beginning August 1st, there was going to be a new contract made. So him saying that I had to pay for like the next month is completely stupid because I was not planning on renewing that lease. So now at 3 minutes and 26 seconds, he says that the main reason why I moved out was because I didn't want Esteban and his girlfriend staying there, and he claims that they were there that they were there for a total of 7 days, which is completely not true. After they came back from Longtail Rally, which one Esteban didn't even go to, they were here for, I want to say, a whole week straight. And I had an issue with that because I have a normal job. So I sometimes work at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. If I go downstairs at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. to make breakfast and I see people crashing on the couch and I'm not able to turn on the light and I'm not able to make breakfast or noise, you think I'm going to be comfortable living there? That was a complete issue for me, and I did not like that at all. Since the sleeping over kept on continuing and stuff didn't change, we politely asked if Will can move their friends upstairs in their room. So that way, if I have to go downstairs at 4 in the morning to get breakfast, they wouldn't be in my way, and then they would be out of sight, out of mind, because they would be upstairs in their rooms. They took that way too serious, and they actually hid them upstairs in our little loft area. They were hiding them upstairs against a wall that was completely against our room, which made it uncomfortable for us. And the way we found out that they were sleeping upstairs is one morning, Andrew was moving his old desk out into the loft, and he noticed there was a whole mattress there, and he actually saw two people sleeping there and kind of hiding under the covers. Now, if this was okay and this was allowed, why would you be hiding and try to hide the fact that you're there? Like, it doesn't make sense. And there was absolutely no discussion about turning the loft area into a room or a Airbnb. And once we confronted Will and Cole about the situation, they said, well, you said not to leave them downstairs, so we brought them up. And then Will even said that he can actually buy them a Chinese curtain so that there's like a wall so that they could sleep there. And it's just like, you're really gonna make a whole room like out of the upstairs area that we all use? Like, it just wasn't right that was happening. When we brought up the situation to Will, his argument was that they didn't take up any extra space, so in that case they didn't have to pay anything. But at the same time, I don't take up any more room. I am in Andrew's room and we share a room, but they want me to pay rent and utilities, but they have their friends over here every day sleeping over here rent free. I was not okay with that. So when we were first talking about me moving in, they tried to make me pay $800 a month just to share a room with Andrew, where everyone else's rent was $1,000. So how does that make sense that I pay $200 less than them when I'm sharing a room? I don't have a whole room. They were trying to charge me $800. After talking about how ridiculous that sounded, we brought it down to me paying $500 a month on top of utilities just to be sharing a room. But Will didn't have any issues building his friends a room upstairs for free. Will claimed in his video that I didn't like his friends staying over, but my only issue was that they were practically building them a whole room while I was still being charged rent and on top of that utilities. On a side note, coincidentally, ever since they've been sleeping here, our electricity bill has more than doubled, which is kind of funny because he claims that they're not using any utilities whatsoever. And we didn't have an issue before they started sleeping over. I was absolutely fed up that this had been going on for so long, so I decided to move out. Once I moved out, I said in the group chat that I was moving out, and I said, thanks for everything. Will proceeded to ask why I moved out. Then he proceeded to tell me that I am still going to be responsible to pay rent for the next 90 days. So I calmly told Will in the group chat why I moved out. I also did mention that I wasn't going to continue paying rent because I wasn't on the lease. He got, I don't know, upset, and he removed me from the group chat and blocked me. So once I saw that he blocked me, I kind of got a little kind of petty, and I made a story, not a post, Will. It wasn't a post. It was a story that I didn't even have up for 24 hours. And I said that he is a fake car guy, which is completely true. If anyone that knows him knows he doesn't wrench on his cars. I've never even seen him do an oil change on his cars because Voodoo does it for him. The only thing I've ever seen him do at that house in the whole year that we've lived there is wash his cars. At 4 minutes and 20 seconds, he then says that he likes to handle these issues internally, but when I try to communicate these things, he proceeded to block me. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's not communication. I tried to communicate with him, but all he did was block me and not even try hearing me out. Whenever we had an issue, we would try to communicate and voice our opinions. Now, when the whole hiding upstairs situation happened, we asked Will if we could talk to him. We were upstairs in our room. He was downstairs cooking breakfast. We asked if we could go and talk to him. He said that he didn't have time because he was making breakfast. Now, Will, as an Air Force captain, you should at least be able to multitask. We were just asking you to hear us out. You could have continued making your breakfast, but you wanted no part of us going downstairs and trying to talk to you. So in his video, Will makes it seem that he wanted Andrew to continue living at that house. But in the screenshot, it clearly states where Will says that they all talked as a group and they wanted Andrew to start looking for somewhere else to live. So how is that you wanting to keep Andrew living here? The funny thing is, at around 5 minutes and 7 seconds, he tries to make it seem like Andrew and him are all cool and are still friends and buddy, but behind group chats, he's insulting him, calling him names, saying he's lazy, and just being the complete opposite as what he states in the video. He makes it seem like they're all cool, but that's the complete opposite of what really happened. So once I moved out, I already had all my things moved. He actually told Andrew that I was not allowed back there, as if he is the landlord. Now, this is very typical of Will. He tends to take control of everything and thinks he's the boss and thinks he's like the higher up than everyone. So a couple days after I moved out, I was hanging out with Andrew and we stopped by just to grab his phone so that he can make a thumbnail for his video. I got off the car because I had to use the restroom. So as we both walked inside, Will, Esteban, and Skate were walking out. We said nothing to them. We were there for maybe 2 minutes tops, and then we left. 10 minutes later, he texted Andrew and said that I was not allowed back at the house and to not bring her back. That happened. Then I want to say a couple days later, I actually went back just to hang out there, and since he's not the landlord, he has no right to tell me if I can come and go inside the house, especially since I did pay my rent that month. So there's no reason why I should not be allowed there. When we left that night, we're getting into his car and he actually walked out and knocked on the window, told Andrew to roll down the window. He said to Andrew, "Don't bring her back or I will sue her for defamation and put a restraining order on her. We both laughed internally because that was the most ridiculous thing we've ever heard. A restraining order? Like, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and it was just so funny to even hear him say that. And it was honestly so pathetic. You really hated to see my face that much that you threatened to do those things. So at 5:27, he says how his whole content is all about making people happy and being nice, but behind the scenes, he is the complete opposite. He has no problem insulting people or calling them names, which is what you guys don't see. The worst thing I've done is call him a fake car guy, and look where we are now. To sum it up, the whole video that he made, he had no proof whatsoever and made himself look like the innocent person. And at the end of the day, I came with receipts, and everyone's gonna know what truly happened in that house. And the reason why I moved out was completely reasonable. How are you gonna charge me rent when I don't take up extra space? I'm not even downstairs. I stay in my room the whole time. Anyone who knows me knows I am antisocial. I don't like talking to people or even being around people, honestly. So I just stay in my room. So I don't take up any space. He has no problem charging me, but he will not charge his friends, but will build them a whole room for them to stay at. That was my whole issue, and that's why I moved out. Nate was the only person who actually respected the rules in the house and never insulted me or disrespected me in any way. So please don't send him any hate. He had nothing to do with this, and I still have a lot of respect for him, and I will continue to support him in everything that he does. And another thing that I'm just gonna throw in is Nate actually works on his cars. Will was the only one who never even touched his cars. Like I said, the only thing he would do is wash his cars. At least Nate wrenches on his own cars. So now we have a special guest, someone who actually lived in that house and also shared a room with me to give his kind of perspective of what was going on. We have Drew Peacock.
All right, so I wasn't going to involve myself into this, but to see as Will, the last time we talked, you were just super disrespectful for no reason at all. You came at me with insults for no reason at all. I am going to go ahead and side with my girlfriend on this. I'm sorry. First things first, Will, when we first moved in, you were a completely different person. You were super respectful. You were super chill. You were a fun guy to be around. As time went on, you just like increasingly got worse for some reason. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was buying the R8. It kind of just inflated your ego or something. But over time, me and a lot of people around you, we all saw you just slowly change. Also, whenever we would try to talk with him about stuff and things would get a little heated, he would be the first guy to always throw out an insult. Of course, I'll stoop down to his level because why not? And I'll throw insults back. I don't really care. If you come at me when I'm just trying to have a civil talk with you and be an adult, and you start insulting me, calling me a fat fuck and saying that I'm lazy and I make YouTube videos all day, when all you do all day is make TikToks for other people, come on, let's grow up a little bit. Let's handle these things like adults. There's no need to throw insults. I have no problem stooping down to your levels, but don't try to insult me based on what I do when this is actually what you're trying to do in life. You're shooting yourself in the foot. You're posting YouTube videos, but then you're insulting YouTubers. What's the point in that? Another thing about Will that you might not know is he will intimidate you. He will try to threaten you, I guess, if you have an issue with him. There were multiple times when we were talking and we were getting a little heated and he would say, "Come say it to my face. I get tough in person, you get soft." As if like I'm threatened by him. As you can tell from the screenshots, I wasn't really threatened by him, especially when his first instinct is to threaten a girl for coming into his house with a lawsuit. I already know you would not touch me. No chance in the world you would touch me, because if your first thought is to sue, then you already know my first thought would probably be the same, because you're going to think how you think. So right then and there, your bar is so low. It is so childish. It's just pathetic. It is honestly just super pathetic. I lost all respect for you right then and there. You are literally all bark, no bite. Touching on that note, also, if you're trying to intimidate me through text, but you're saying that you want to handle things internally, why would you expect us to come and talk to you about these issues when you are intimidating us And when you're being rude to us in the chat, I'm not going to go out of my way and go try to talk to you about issues. If you're already threatening me, why would I do that? It makes no sense whatsoever. Like, do you not think? I understand that you want your viewers to see things a certain way, but if you threaten someone, they are not going to go out of their way to try to handle the situation. That's fucking stupid. I think the funniest thing of all time is I was not allowed to work on my car in the garage. I think it is just the funniest thing ever. They gave me the smallest garage spot, so I put my Honda Civic in there. As you guys know, I've been building the Civic over the last year or so, so it's just been kind of sitting there. On certain days, well, you know, I need to do a clutch job. I actually work on my car. I'm not going to do a clutch job on an inclined driveway or in the street. I'll do the clutch job in the garage. On one such occasion, he got mad at me for working on my car in the car content house, as if all we're supposed to do is wash our cars all day, and actually tried to make me pay for a detail for his V6 Mustang. You cannot make this shit up. He said he detailed his car. By the way, his version of detailing is just washing, but he detailed his car and wanted me to pay for a detail because I had my car in his garage. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You are so childish. Bro, it's not really possible to do a clutch job by yourself in one sitting. It just doesn't go that planned. If you work on cars, you know things don't go as planned as always, and some things take longer than others. I understand you don't know that, because the one time I saw you work on your car, you almost burnt it to the ground. You failed at putting fucking fuel injectors in your Mustang, and they unclipped as you were driving, and fuel spilled everywhere. I understand that. But when you're actually working on your car, it takes time, and sometimes things don't go as planned. Sometimes they don't send you the right parts to finish the job, and sometimes you have to stay in the garage. I'm sorry your precious V6 Mustang had to be parked outside overnight, but saying that I have to pay for a detail is the childish thing ever. What kind of car content house punishes you for working on your car and making content with it? It makes no fucking sense. I can't do a washing tutorial every day. That is stupid. Lastly, he says in the video that she moved out and she abandoned us, and it's because of this 90-day agreement that gentleman agreement. Anyways, she was never really included in that because she was my roommate. She didn't, you know, lease out a room. She was my roommate, so that never really applied to her. At least that's the way we saw it. And at the same time, that agreement just makes no sense. I know, Will, you don't have a girlfriend, but let's say you did have a girlfriend and you lived with your girlfriend and she cheated on you and you kicked her out. Would you still pay her rent for 90 days after she cheated on you? You would not. That rule makes no fucking sense. It doesn't even make sense in the aspect of if I'm trying to move out, because if I find a house, it's not going to be on the market in 90 days. I don't know if you know that. I mean, you're 30. I would hope you have some sort of common sense. But these are the dumbest rules I have ever heard, and they make no fucking sense. Nate, if you were going to buy a house, I would pray that you're not paying rent once you buy your house still at our house for 90 days. It would make no fucking sense. And I know Nate would agree with me on that. It makes no fucking sense. I know you want to cover your ass because you're not financially stable, as you've told us so many times in the chat. But, you know, leaning on us for your problems makes no sense. I'm sorry, Will. You changed over time. You used to be cool. It was fun hanging out with you. But as you can tell, I progressively stopped hanging out with you for certain issues, partially because, yes, Mammy does have social anxiety and she doesn't like going around you and all your friends. But at the same time, too, you just changed slowly over time, and I'm sorry. Also, saying I left on my own is just the dumbest thing ever when the first thing you guys told me was start looking for somewhere new to live. It is pathetic. I could still re-sign the lease right now and stay there and just annoy the shit out of you, but I'll be more of an adult and I'll make my life better by never having to see you again or live with you again. You don't have to worry about telling people that I'm moving up in the world. They can already see that because I'm going to be away from you. So don't worry, Will. Have a good life. See ya.